They say a garage is just a place to park your car, but for me, it became the battlefield for something much bigger. I worked my whole life to earn peace, respect, and a yellow Lamborghini. But in Oak Ridge Hills, not everyone was ready to see someone like me behind the wheel. What started with a petty violation ended with a power shift no one saw coming. This is the story of how one Karen got caught and a community got changed. My name is Devin Jackson, and I thought I had finally made it. After 15 years of building a software company from scratch, countless sleepless nights, and more rejection than I care to remember, I found myself standing in front of the house I'd always dreamed of. Oak Ridge Hills, clean streets, private gates, and a brochure full of promises, security, tranquility, and like-minded neighbors. The house had 4 bedrooms, immaculate landscaping, and the kind of smart home setup most people only saw in magazines. But the crown jewel sat parked inside my garage, a custom yellow Lamborghini Urus. Sleek, loud, bold, everything I had become after years of staying quiet to survive. At 38, I thought I was buying peace. What I didn't realize was that some people saw peace as something you had to look like to deserve. The first week was fine. Awkward waves from neighbors. The occasional double take. I brushed it off. It was a predominantly white neighborhood. Sure, but I didn't expect confetti when I moved in. Then, Patricia Whitley arrived. She moved into the house across the street like she'd been planning it for years. From the first moment, I could feel her watching. She wasn't curious. She was calculating, measuring everything. She thought I represented: the car, the dogs, the visitors, the fact that I didn't defer. Within 2 weeks of her arrival, I received my first HOA violation notice. Trash bins, visible from the curb. They weren't. I checked the footage. They'd been in the garage the whole time. Then came another unauthorized plant species in front yard. I had planted lavender, not bamboo, lavender, the moment she was voted HOA president. The pace picked up. It wasn't just her. It was the whispers she spread. That I had too many guests. That my dogs were a threat. That my Lamborghini was aggressively colored. I kept my cool. I'd spent too much of my life fighting battles that went nowhere. But when Patricia entered my home without permission, something snapped. It was a Saturday morning. I was in my office on a Zoom call when I heard Zeus and Apollo, my 2 Rottweilers, growling low. Not their normal bark for a squirrel growl. This was different. Alert, protective. I opened my security app, and there she was. Patricia, in my garage, circling the Lamborghini, taking photos, holding my car keys. I don't remember going down the stairs. I just remember the sound of my heartbeat and the disbelief boiling in my chest. When I reached the garage, I saw her standing there like she owned the place. Phone still raised. "This vehicle is in violation of HOA color standards," she said, not even blinking. "It's disruptive." I stared at her. "You're in my garage. I'm performing an inspection," she said, brushing her hand against the hood like she was checking for dust. "With my keys?" I asked, my voice sharp now. "You broke in and took my keys. I'm the HOA president. I have the authority." "No, you don't," I said, pulling out my phone and hitting record. "Put the keys down. Now." She hesitated, then tossed them to the ground with a sneer. "You don't know who my husband is." There it was. "I don't care who he is." I said, "I've got you on video," and the dog saw everything. Her eyes darted toward Zeus and Apollo, standing calm but ready between her and the door. "You're setting your dogs on me. They're trained. They didn't move until you did," I said, "but they'll testify if they have to." The next day, she sent a letter to the HOA accusing me of threatening her with dangerous animals. She claimed I had cornered her, that I'd trapped her in the garage. I didn't retaliate. I documented. I sent a certified letter to the HOA board and the property management company, attaching timestamps, screenshots, and video clips. I laid it all out, from the violation notices to the illegal entry. Then, I called for an official community meeting. Patricia tried to get ahead of it, spinning stories to anyone who would listen. But stories crumble under the weight of proof. At the meeting, she stood up in front of the room with a carefully rehearsed speech. She called me aggressive, claimed she feared for her safety, and suggested the Lamborghini was a deliberate provocation. I didn't interrupt. I just plugged in a flash drive. The projector lit up. There she was, on video, walking into my garage, taking the keys, touching my property, my dog sitting quietly behind her, not moving an inch. My voice, calm but firm. Her response, smug and dismissive. By the end of the video, no one said a word. Patricia tried to speak again, but her voice cracked. The room had already made up its mind. Even the other board members looked away. She wasn't asked to resign. She was removed. In the weeks that followed, things shifted. The HOA bylaws were reviewed and revised. Diversity training was implemented. I was elected vice president of the board. Not because I asked, because the community insisted. Patricia was ordered to complete community service for trespassing. Her influence evaporated. Though her husband, the judge, tried to quietly smooth things over, but it was too late. What surprised me most wasn't that justice was served. It was who stood with me afterward. An elderly couple from down the street who admitted they had been hesitant about me moving in. A family with biracial kids who said they finally felt safer. A teenager who asked if he could intern at my company because he'd never seen someone like me drive a car like that and live here. They say real change takes time. Sometimes. It only takes one person refusing to be small. The Lamborghini still sits in my garage. The dogs still lounge beside it. And the garage door, I leave it open more often now. Because sometimes, the best way to change a community is to let it see who you really are with nothing to hide and nothing to prove.